This call is the beginning of a journey that can completely transform your life. It is like a door that opens, inviting you to step out of routine, to leave behind what is shallow and seek something deeper, something more true. But do you know what happens? Many people ignore this call. They are so busy with the worries of everyday life, with the distractions of the world, that they end up not noticing. However, those who have been chosen by God can hear it. They feel this call clearly, even if sometimes they do not understand everything immediately. God's call is not something that happens all at once. It is a process. It usually starts with small signs. It can be that feeling that something needs to change in your life, a desire to seek answers, or even those moments when you stop and reflect deeply, asking yourself, why am I here? What is the purpose of my life? But answering this call is not easy. It takes courage. It takes faith. God does not usually reveal the whole plan at once. He only shows the next step, and it is up to you to trust and follow, even when the path seems uncertain, even when you do not know exactly where it will lead. It is like walking in the dark, trusting that He is guiding you. If you feel that God is calling you, know that this is not by chance. He has something special reserved for you. But to live this, you must be willing to listen and obey. God does not choose just anyone. He chooses those who have something different, something that He Himself placed within them. And if you are hearing this now, perhaps you are one of those chosen ones. The chosen ones have characteristics that set them apart, even if they themselves do not always realize it. From an early age, they feel that they do not completely fit into the world. It is as if something has always been missing, as if they are here for a greater reason. They also have a constant search for deeper answers. They do not settle for the superficial, for what is fleeting. They want to understand the meaning of things. They want something that truly makes a difference. Another hallmark of the chosen ones is their spiritual connection. They perceive things that other people do not notice. It can be signs, dreams, or even coincidences that seem to have a greater meaning. Additionally, the chosen ones have a very strong empathy. They feel the pain of others as if it were their own pain, and have a genuine desire to help, expecting nothing in return. Have you ever felt that your life has something special? As if, even amidst challenges, there is a greater purpose guiding you? Perhaps while many around you are content with routine and the fleeting, something inside you refuses to settle. There is a restlessness that insists on reminding you. You were made for something more. Don't think this is just in your head. This feeling is a sign. It is the first step for those who begin to realize that they are not in this world by chance. And I want to tell you something important. If you feel this way, it is because God has something great reserved for you. From the beginning, He sets apart some for special missions, and these are the ones called the chosen. But make no mistake, being chosen does not mean that life will be easy or full of privileges. On the contrary, being chosen means that you have been called for a unique purpose, and this comes with responsibilities, challenges, and most importantly, lessons. Perhaps you have already noticed that even without understanding why, you face situations that challenge you more than others. Or maybe you feel that you have never fully fit into certain environments or groups. It is not easy to be different. But being chosen means that God has been working in your life in ways that, many times, will only make sense later on. Every pain, every loss, and every difficulty has a reason. God is preparing you. Today, we are going to talk about this. We will discuss what it means to be chosen, how to recognize the signs, and what the steps are to understand the purpose that God has reserved for you. Let's get straight to the point, in a practical and truthful way, because you need to understand how important your journey is. Before we proceed, I ask that you subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any content. Here we talk about purpose, spirituality, and everything that can help you grow on this journey. So, click there, and let's together understand what God has reserved for your life. Shall we begin? God's call does not come with noise or in an obvious way. It does not come with great signs or clear messages that everyone can see. In fact, the divine call is discreet, like a whisper that you feel deep in your heart. It is that feeling that appears out of nowhere, a restlessness that you cannot explain, but that seems to say, "You are not here by chance." These characteristics are not a burden. They are signs that God has set you apart for something greater. He has chosen you for a special mission. But before fulfilling this mission, every chosen one goes through a period of preparation. This period is known as the desert. The desert is not a physical place. It is a moment in life when you face intense challenges, moments of loneliness, and deep spiritual growth. In the desert, you may feel isolated, distanced from friends and family. But this isolation has a purpose. God uses this silence to teach you to depend solely on Him. In the desert, you may also experience losses. It may be the loss of a job, a relationship, or even material possessions. These losses are not punishments. They serve to teach you to detach from what is fleeting and to trust fully in God. Furthermore, the desert brings emotional and spiritual trials. It is common to feel doubts, fear, and even discouragement. But all of this has a purpose: to strengthen your faith. The desert does not last forever. It is just a phase, a time of preparation. It is as if God is molding you, transforming you, so that you are ready to live something extraordinary. When the desert ends, you emerge stronger, more confident, and better prepared to fulfill the purpose that God has for your life. But know that, as a chosen one, the light you carry is precious. And because of this, it attracts resistance. Not everyone will understand what God is doing in your life. Some people may try to discourage you, and you may face situations that seem to want to extinguish that light. Therefore, it is important to protect your spiritual energy. Prayer is your greatest weapon. It is through it that you connect with God, strengthen your faith, and protect your light. Additionally, it is important to avoid environments and people that do not contribute to your spiritual growth. Use the discernment that God has given you to choose where to be and with whom to share your journey. Another essential thing is to practice forgiveness. Holding on to grudges only drains your energy and distances you from God. Forgiveness keeps your heart light and your connection with Him intact. Remember, your light is valuable, and protecting it is fundamental to fulfilling the plan that God has for you. The Word teaches us that the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and His ears are attentive to their cry. Psalm 34:15. This promise reminds us that, as chosen ones, our victory is already guaranteed. This does not mean that we will not have problems. Challenges will arise, but they are not signs of defeat. On the contrary, they are opportunities to grow, mature, and experience the power of God in our lives. When you remain steadfast in faith and in the purpose that God has placed in you, no adversity can defeat you. God has already prepared your victory, and it is greater than any obstacle you may face. If you feel that God is calling you, do not ignore that call. Trust in Him, seek His presence in prayer, and allow Him to guide you. Your light is needed in this world. You have been called to be an instrument of transformation and hope. May God bless you and strengthen you on this journey. Great things are reserved for you. God's chosen ones have marks that make them different, even if, many times, they do not fully understand these characteristics themselves. These marks are not something that is learned or developed over time. They are placed by God from the beginning as part of the purpose He has for each person's life. They are signs that show that these people have been set apart for something greater, something that goes beyond the ordinary. And although these marks may bring challenges, they are also a constant reminder that God has a special plan for those He has chosen. One of the first marks that the chosen ones perceive is the feeling of not belonging. From a very young age, they feel that they do not completely fit in anywhere. It is as if there is always something different about them, something that separates them from the rest of the people. This does not mean that they are better or superior, but that God has called them for a unique purpose. This feeling of not belonging can be uncomfortable, especially in childhood or adolescence, when all we want is to feel accepted. But over time, the chosen ones begin to understand that this difference is not a flaw, but a characteristic that prepares them for the mission that God has for them. This feeling of not fitting in can manifest in various ways. It can be in the family environment, where the chosen one feels that they think or act differently from others. It can be at school, at work, or even in social circles, where they realize that they do not share the same interests or values as most people. This can lead to moments of loneliness, but it is also an opportunity for the chosen one to draw closer to God and seek their true identity in Him. After all, it is in God that we find our place, and it is He who gives us the direction to move forward. Another mark of the chosen ones is the search for deep answers. They are not satisfied with the superficial, with what is fleeting or empty. From an early age, they feel a need to understand the meaning of things, to seek something that truly has value. This search can manifest in various ways, in questions about the purpose of life, in reflections on what is right and wrong, or even in a constant desire to learn and grow. The chosen ones cannot live automatically, simply going with the flow. They feel that there is something greater, something more significant, and they are always in search of it. This search for deep answers is a reflection of God's call in their lives. It is as if the Holy Spirit is constantly guiding them, urging them to look beyond what is visible. While many people are content with what is material or immediate, the chosen ones feel that they need to go further. They want to understand God's purpose for their lives. They want to live according to His will, and they want to make a difference in the world. This search can be challenging because answers do not always come quickly or easily. But it is precisely in this process of searching that the chosen ones grow spiritually and draw closer to God. A third mark of the chosen ones is their spiritual connection. They have a special sensitivity to perceive things that other people ignore. It can be signs, dreams, or synchronicities that seem to have a greater meaning. The chosen ones feel that God is speaking to them in subtle but powerful ways. They perceive God's presence in everyday situations, in moments of prayer, or even in unexpected circumstances. This spiritual connection is a gift from God, a way for Him to communicate directly with the chosen ones and guide them on their journey. This spiritual sensitivity can also bring challenges. Sometimes the chosen ones may feel overwhelmed or confused by everything they perceive. They may have doubts about what is truly from God and what is not. But over time, they learn to discern God's voice and to trust in the direction He is giving. This spiritual connection is one of the clearest ways God shows that the chosen ones are not alone, that He is with them at all times, and that He has a perfect plan for their lives. Another very evident mark in the chosen ones is intense empathy. They have a unique ability to feel the pain of others, to put themselves in someone else's shoes, and to want to help, even without expecting anything in return. This empathy is not something they choose to have. It is something that God placed in them as part of His purpose. The chosen ones feel a genuine desire to do good, to alleviate the suffering of others, and to bring hope to those going through difficult times. This empathy can be both a blessing and a challenge. On one hand, it allows the chosen ones to be instruments of God in the lives of others, bringing comfort, support, and love. On the other hand, this sensitivity can make them feel overwhelmed or even emotionally drained. That is why it is so important for the chosen ones to seek strength in God, to entrust their worries to Him, and to trust that He is in control of all things. The desert is a time of isolation. Often, the chosen ones feel distanced from friends, family, and even the people they used to relate to. This distancing can be painful because human beings, by nature, seek connection and support from others. But God uses this silence and solitude to teach an important lesson: total dependence on Him. In the desert, the chosen one learns that their strength, security, and peace do not come from the people around them, but from God. It is in this moment that they discover that God is enough, that He is the only one who never fails, and that He is present at all times, even when everything seems to crumble. This isolation also serves for the chosen one to hear God's voice more clearly. Many times, we are so busy with the distractions of everyday life that we cannot perceive what God is trying to tell us. In the desert, when everything around seems silent, God's voice becomes more evident. It is in this place of solitude that the chosen one learns to trust more in God, to seek His presence, and to depend completely on Him. The isolation is not a punishment, but an opportunity to draw closer to God and strengthen the relationship with Him. Another striking aspect of the desert is the losses. During this period, important things may be taken from the chosen one's life. It may be a job, a relationship, material possessions, or even dreams and plans they had for the future. These losses can be painful and often difficult to understand, but they have a purpose. God uses these situations to teach detachment, to show that the things of this world are fleeting and that true security is in Him. When the chosen one loses something they considered essential, they are led to trust fully in God. They learn that even when everything seems out of control, God is still in command. These losses also help the chosen one to redefine their priorities, to set aside what is superficial and to focus on what really matters: God's purpose for their life. It is in this process that they discover that even when they lose something, God always has something greater and better prepared for them. In addition to isolation and losses, the desert is also marked by emotional and spiritual trials. During this period, it is common for the chosen one to face thoughts of doubt, fear, and even discouragement. They may wonder if they are on the right path, if they were truly called by God, or if they are capable of fulfilling the mission given to them. These thoughts can be intense and sometimes seem unbearable, but they have a purpose: to strengthen faith. The emotional and spiritual trials in the desert serve for the chosen one to learn to trust in God, even when they cannot see the way ahead. It is in this moment that they discover that their strength does not come from themselves, but from God. They learn to hand over their worries, fears, and doubts into His hands, trusting that God is in control and has a perfect plan. These trials also help the chosen one to grow spiritually, to develop a more mature faith, and to become stronger to face the challenges that will come in the future. Prayer is also a form of spiritual protection. When you pray, you are creating a barrier against the negative influences that try to reach you. It is as if you are putting on the armor of God, as described in Ephesians 6:10-18. This armor protects you against the enemy's attacks and gives you strength to resist the temptations and challenges that arise on your path. Additionally, constant prayer keeps your light shining because it connects you to the source of that light, which is God. Without prayer, it is easy to feel weak, lost, or discouraged. But when you pray, your faith is renewed, and you remember that God is in control and that He is greater than any adversity. Another important way to protect your light is to avoid toxic environments. Not all places or people contribute to your spiritual growth. There are environments that drain your energy, pull you away from God, and can even extinguish your light. These environments can be places where there is gossip, negativity, destructive behaviors, or influences that lead you away from God's purpose. Similarly, there are people who, intentionally or not, may try to discourage you, criticize you, or lead you away from the right path. Therefore, it is essential to use discernment to choose where to be and with whom to relate. This does not mean that you should isolate yourself or completely avoid people who think or act differently from you. After all, as a chosen one, you are also called to be light in the world. But it is important to have the wisdom to know when to distance yourself from situations or people that are harming your peace and spiritual growth. Remember that your light is precious, and you have the responsibility to protect it. Avoiding toxic environments also means being mindful of what you consume. This includes what you watch, listen to, or read. Often we are influenced by content that seems harmless, but gradually contaminates our minds and hearts. Therefore, it is important to filter what enters your life and seek things that edify you, draw you closer to God, and strengthen your faith. When you choose to feed your mind and spirit with good things, your light becomes even stronger. In addition to prayer and discernment, practicing forgiveness is another essential way to protect your light. Holding on to grudges, resentments, or anger drains your spiritual energy and distances you from God. Forgiveness, on the other hand, keeps your heart light and your connection with God intact. Forgiving does not mean that you are agreeing with what was done, or that you are ignoring the pain you felt. Forgiving is a choice to release the weight that is in your heart and to hand the situation over to God. God has a purpose for your life. The fact that you are here listening to these words is not by chance. He is calling you to something greater, something that goes beyond what you can imagine. Perhaps you are facing doubts, fears, or even moments of discouragement. But know that God is calling you to trust in Him, to seek His presence in prayer, and to allow Him to guide you. He has a perfect plan for you, and all He asks is that you trust and move forward, even when the path seems uncertain. The light that God has placed in you is needed in this world. You have been called to be an instrument of transformation and hope, to carry the message of love and salvation to everyone around you. But to fulfill this calling, you need to be connected with God, seek His direction, and trust that He is in control. No matter how difficult the journey may be, God is with you, and He has already prepared everything you need to succeed. If you feel that God is speaking to you right now, do not ignore that call. He is inviting you to live an abundant life, full of purpose and meaning. He is calling you to be light, to make a difference, and to impact the lives of those around you. Do not let doubts or fears prevent you from responding to this call. Trust in God. Seek His presence in prayer, and allow Him to guide you. When we come together as the body of Christ, we become stronger. God uses this unity to accomplish extraordinary things, to transform lives, and to fulfill His purpose in this world. Therefore, share your experiences, leave your comments, and join us on this journey. Together, we can grow in faith, support one another, and be instruments of God to bring hope and transformation to all who cross our path. May God bless you and strengthen you on your journey. Great things are reserved for you. Trust in Him. Remain steadfast in faith, and never forget that the victory is already yours. God is in control, and He has a perfect plan for your life. If you haven't started following the devotional The Chosen, 40 Days of Reflection and Hope, yet, now is the perfect time to embark on this transformative journey. This devotional offers an opportunity to deepen your connection with God, strengthen your faith, and find clarity amidst challenges. Each day, you'll be guided by inspiring messages that renew your mind, refresh your spirit, and bring light to your path. Don't miss this chance for spiritual growth.